You are the message, as the saying goes, and in light of the burgeoning sector of personality-based journalism and political commentary, see Stefan Molyneux, Mike Cernovich, Dave Rubin, and others, what are you doing to bolster and improve your personal brand? That's a super good question. Do you know, well, obviously not enough. One of the things that we do when we keep asking about resources, and keep trying to increase the resources, is I'm trying to free myself up. We took on a second editor. Needless to say, he costs money. And because I was spending all week on getting the right angles done. And I think the right angles need to be there. It's daily content. I pretty much do a video a day. Certainly 5 a week. It's definitely 5 a week. And I'm behind on doing these time over targets and stuff, which I'll shoot tomorrow. So I probably do at least 1 a day, including weekends, and sometimes I do more than that. And that's good because that's the business, and I love what I'm doing, and I want to do more of it. So the first thing I would do is I would spend a lot more time on the marketing, but I can't do that because I'm so busy cranking product out the door. So in terms of the thing that interests me the most about this question, though, is, and this is partially an answer, it's a little deeper question than it looks, because you talk about personality-based journalism. I've never heard that term before, but it's clear that that's happening, and it's clear that's what I do, and Stefan does, and a bunch of other people you mentioned, Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and all the rest. And the reason I think this is such an interesting question is because I'm not doing as much as I should to improve my reach, because it's only within the last 2 or 3 months that I realized what it is I do. Let me rephrase that I realize what the product is. I know what I do. I know what my work is, and my work was the same when I was writing. This work has always been the same. I just can't stand injustice. I just hate it. And so I know what the work is, but I know what I do, but I didn't know what the work was. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Perfect example of what I'm talking about here. I'm coming from a television background, and I'm coming from a 20th century background. I'm coming from a background where I grew up watching, 3 TV stations: ABC, CBS, NBC, and those were captive audiences. You were there at 9 o'clock on Tuesday to see the show you wanted to see, and if you missed it, then you missed it. And so you were essentially chained to the seat. It's hard for young people to understand. We didn't have the internet, obviously, so there wasn't an endless supply of things to look at. And I find that every single day, I spend more and more time on YouTube and less time on anything else. I think people produce the best content. So it's a miracle, because you can get into the game for essentially nothing, and certainly not more than a couple $100 if you got some talent. So here's what I'm talking about. So I did for years and years at PJTV, and for years and years with Firewall, I would do an opening graphic. And I did the opening graphic because I thought it looked good. I thought it was great opening graphic, especially the Firewall opening graphic. Hi, everybody, I'm Bill Whittle, and this is the Firewall. Awesome. Great way to get into the show. It's absolutely fantastic. And I take a great deal of pride in the graphics treatments and the opening credits for Nexus Report and Time Over Target, the members-only content. I like the opening graphics for News Actually. I really dig doing it. It's really fun for me, and I like it. I like the look, and I like the sound of it. However, just a few months ago, I sat down with somebody who really knows what my product is. I don't know what it is. I thought I did, but turns out I didn't. And what we found was we were looking at graphs and charts and numbers, and we found out that the number of people that left the video, watched the video for less than 7 or 8 seconds, was something like 80% of the people left within 7 or 8 seconds. It just falls, and falls pretty quick, and then when it falls, it stabilizes pretty fast. So it's basically saying, nope, don't have time for this. And then the people that do stay either stay because they're really interested in the subject, or they know what I'm doing, or whatever. But I saw that number. It's not a slow decline. It's not like we're losing a few. It's an abyss. It's an abyss. It just collapses. I saw that graph and I just said, oh, okay, I've got to re-teach myself. I have to start thinking about what I do in an entirely different way. I am not making TV shows. You thought you were. And you want to, but you're not. You're making internet videos. And internet videos, you have to get people in the first 3 seconds or else they're not coming. And every time I would run the credits, they're gone. You know, the faithful are here. That's nice and it's very flattering and stuff. But if you want to talk about getting actual eyeballs on things, then you have to get them into it and fast. I was here last night till about 11 o'clock at night doing the subtitles on the Facebook version. And I hate the subtitles because if you're listening to the show, first of all, it's a lot of work. It was 140 different slates that I had to put up. But if you're listening to the show and you're reading the subtitles, it's really distracting. However, I can't tell you how many times I would be either in bed or I'd be in public someplace, I'd be at a restaurant, or when I'm flipping through my Facebook feed and there's something interesting and I don't want to turn up the sound, I don't want everybody to hear it, and I'm just reading the subtitles, so it's essential. By the way, that thing is doing bang up business. We released it, I don't know, early this morning. As I write this is Wednesday. I'm just curious because the numbers really zoom in. We released it this morning at about 5 o'clock Pacific time. The latest firewall, whatever it's called, Black Lives Matter. And right now, as I speak, it is at 187,000 on Facebook. That's a very good number for not even being up there for 24 hours. It's 18 hours maybe tops. So that's a really good opening. And Al Conson there, I think that's who it is, said he skips opening sequences on YouTube. So do I. And it's a shame because now the graphics are so cool that they really can be just tremendous. And I see all these incredible Photoshop templates and I love them so much. But I had to change my product, and it hurt me a lot more than you may suspect it did to tear those front graphics off of the show. I mean, it really bothers me. It bothers me that even the right angle opening credits are 6 seconds, I want to say 6 or 7. Nope, gone. I keep them on YouTube for right angle because YouTube's got a fairly, things are changing so fast, but you go to YouTube, right? I mean, you go there and you hit a button, but Facebook, you're just scrolling down your feed and it comes up and it starts auto playing, and it's like, if you're going to get that, because you're not going to it, it's coming to you, you got to get people fast and you got to change. So that's one example. The opening graphics are one example, and it hurt badly to get rid of them. I really, really, really didn't want to do it, but I did. I'll tell you what else hurt me quite a bit emotionally and artistically. Prior to this conversation that I told you about a couple months ago, when I sat down with people and had my eyes opened about the reality of what I create, because as I said, for the last 8-10 years, I thought I was making television, but I'm not. I'm making internet videos. So people weren't getting through the opening graphics, so the opening graphics disappeared. And then something else I realized, and that is got to do with how search engines work and how people find the work in the first place. And you may have noticed this lately, but all of the evocative titles that I liked so much, I loved these evocative titles. And people have been telling me for a while, it's like, well, especially at Afterburner, I remember all the time people say, "Can you just make the title what it's about?" No, I want to call this, whatever. And these evocative titles, I loved them because I thought they were clever and I thought they were nice. But the problem is, they're great along with opening credits if you have people sitting in front of the television with nothing else to watch. However, that's not the case. So not only do you have to get them fast, you also have to get them fast. And the way you do that is by making a very simple statement and an opening statement, so that the titles of my firewalls for the last 2 or 3 have changed. Guns, Islam, and Orlando were the 3 most they were the 3 most in-demand search words when I wrote the video, and so Guns, Islam, and Orlando was the title of it. Black Lives Matter, I could have just called it Black Lives Matter, but I'm not going to win any friends from Black Lives Matter, so I called it Black Lives Matter Kills People. So the people that are going to be watching this video are going to be people that don't like Black Lives Matter, and I'm going to give them some ammunition. So that is a change. So it sinks in slowly. To be honest with you, Zachariah, it sinks in slowly, but it does eventually get there. So to answer your question, as far as opening my membership up and especially viewership up, it's been a big breakthrough for me to realize what I'm doing. It's been a breakthrough for me to hire, the help that we need to do it. And when you get right down to it, the help you have to hire to do the additional content pretty much knocks out your original revenue. And that's another lesson that I've learned recently, because prior to this year, this was not a business. It wasn't really a business, honestly, not an actual genuine business, I don't think, until PGTV closed. And then something really changed, fundamentally changed here. We had to take on, we get 5 or 6 different part-time workers now, and doing other people's shows is a business. And it has to be treated like a business. So my problem is that I'm the product, and I'm also responsible for delivering the product, and I'm very picky about the way that final product looks. So it's taken months, 3 months, 2-3 months, to get somebody up to speed where I'm relatively confident in handing off the right angles. I went from having to spend 2 or 3 days of post-production on right angles to probably about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to get them all done, all 4. And that's a big difference, and that gets me back into what I'm doing. But all of this stuff has to happen after, I don't want to call it spare time, but this Black Lives Matter firewall was 3 weeks late, 2 or 3 weeks late. It was just really behind, and it was behind because I had so much other stuff to do, and I didn't want to screw this one up, and I just had to wait till I had a handle on it. So yeah, there is so much more that I can do, and there's so many people out there who can help, and I expect I will be talking to them. But I'll close this particular subject with news that I'm sure will make you happy. It's not news anymore, but it used to be. About a year ago, maybe a little less than that, I remember saying on the show that when whoever's elected in January, I think I'm going to hang up my spurs, or at least go into the go into the reserves, maybe do 1 a month or something like that. Get on with doing the movies. And I'd done 3 tours of 4 years each. I've been at this for 12 years. That's 3 tours. That's a lot. And I genuinely believed it, and I really felt that way. Now I begin to realize that one way or another, what we do here gets more and more important. And without question, if Hillary Clinton is elected, without question, then I'm going to be needed more than I was with Obama, if such a thing is possible. Because 8 years ago with Obama, from the day he was inaugurated, the actual day he won the election, I congratulated him, and I said in a post on public, the last post I did on eject, was the day after the election. I said, congratulations, Democrats. You won this one fair and square. I have a lot of questions about this guy, a lot of doubts about this guy, and I very much hope I'm wrong. But I wasn't, so I've spent 8 years now fighting Barack Obama, and the reason I think I'm going to have to be more active and not less active is because Hillary Clinton, if she gets the job, is starting from wreckage. He started with a country and took it to wreckage. She's starting from wreckage and wants to go in the same direction. So, yeah, we're not going anywhere. If Donald Trump wins this thing, on the other hand, we have a different problem. It's still a problem, but it's a different problem, and that problem is keeping him on message, keeping him, holding his feet to the fire, I guess. Needless to say, it's a whole different world if it's Donald Trump than it is if Hillary Clinton. But I'm not one of those people that feels like they're equally bad. I don't know how you come to that conclusion. So if Donald Trump is elected, that'd be great, but it's not like Ronald Reagan being elected. We still have enormous amounts of problems. However, I think the level of solutions is an unknown. Okay, that's what it is. The reason I'm voting for Trump is because he's an unknown, and he may in fact be a catastrophe, but I know that she will be. I know that she will be. They say, you should always never wish for the death of the czar because the next czar may be worse. But in this particular case, I already know which one of these two people is going to be worse. I know which one's going to be worse by far. So it's a no-brainer for me. It is possible that Trump will just, Trump may, in fact, I've made the case before. He's not a conservative. Trump may govern as a big government liberal. Okay, that's a possibility. But even if he is a big government liberal, he's not Hillary Clinton. And it's not a personal reason, although I do personally despise the woman. I despise her personally because of the just the absolute ease with which she lies about everything, just everything. And she just puts the security of the entire nation, but specifically thousands of real people who are intelligence operatives, and these take a second place to her being able to, conduct this covert business of selling political influence for $100 million. This is just not somebody I just can't sit by and let that happen. I gotta stop her as much as I can. So look, either we do stop her and Donald Trump wins, in which case things will be much better. But then we have to figure out how do we package these ideas in a way that, I'm not trying to say I have control over Donald Trump's campaign, but I mean we still have to sell things, right? We still have to make the sale. If Trump is elected, we go from offense to a different kind of thing. If Trump is elected, then my job's not just to attack Hillary. My job is to help provide the alternatives in a way that people can understand it, to give Donald Trump and that administration a chance to see what we're really talking about, because I don't think he gets it. I don't think he gets it mostly because no one's ever sold it to him. I mean, Donald Trump seems like a guy who, look, if I had a half an hour with Donald Trump and I went in prepared, and I get the feeling that I could sell him as a businessman on these ideas for the good of the country and for his own personal good. But no one's ever made the case. No one's ever done what I started the show talking about. No one's ever said, what is money? What is it? What is it? What is socialism? What is capitalism? How is wealth created? No one talks about this stuff. It's all about the economics. Because frankly, that's the only part of the government we really want to get out of the way. We want them to get out of our way, and so the economic growth can happen. And when the economic growth happens, then the military spending can go back up. We shouldn't be cutting back on spending, but we do in fact have some pretty decent hardware out there relative to the rest of the world. It's just that when the Obama administration intentionally pushes the warriors out of our warrior culture, because what Obama does is he doesn't sack generals or privates or sergeants. He simply makes life unlivable for them, and they resign. And I don't blame them. But when you hear people who are Green Beret commanders, saying, no, I'm leaving. They asked me to ask my people if they had guns in the house, and if so, how many and where were they? And I just will not do it. I refuse. So he's out. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do. So I'm not going anywhere. The really tough part will be finding a way to stay on the political stuff and get the movies done, because the movies are in fact not just fun and not just what I've been wanting to do my entire life. They are in fact far more effective political weapons than what I do now. And so if I can reach 15, 16-year-old boys and girls who don't even know they're being reached, then it's game over. So that'll be something to do. And I think I'm doing an interview with Stefan either tomorrow or the next day. We're going to do an hour on, what was it? I don't remember. Might be BLM. In any event,